It's a good feeling to have, even though like obviously you'll make other friends and like that's obviously not like the forefront of like this person has to be Indian for them to be my friend. Like honestly nobody's thinking like that. Yeah. But it's just like initially when you come in and you see someone that's like similar, you're like oh my god, like we're
just
gonna,
feels
we're
like
gonna,
home.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's home. It's like you feel it, and then like from there like you just like get close.
This podcast is a production of Widener Law Commonwealth in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. For more information, visit commonwealthlaw.widener.edu/podcast.
Hi guys, welcome back to Cafecito with LALSA. My name's Angelica Alonso. I'm originally from New York, just moved here. I'm a 1L. My mom's from Puerto Rico, my dad's from Mexico, so I'm a little mixed baby.
Hi, my name is Katrina Perea. I go as Kat. I'm originally from New Mexico, but I moved to Maryland about 10 years ago. I'm a 1L here at Harrisburg. My grandma's Mexican and my grandpa's Spaniard. So I'm mixed as well.
Can you guys introduce yourselves?
Yeah, so my name is Ashley Seaver-Geese. I'm a 3L here from Atlanta, Georgia, nowhere from up here, and I'm the president of APALSA here.
I'm Sneha Henry. I'm also a 3L here. I'm from Maryland. I'm the treasurer of APALSA.
Can you go into a little more detail of what APALSA is exactly?
Yeah. So APALSA stands for the Asian Pacific American Law Student Association. It's a national org, and our school used to have a chapter, but I guess like it just like died out, like the leadership wasn't passed down. So this year, me and my friends, we brought it back. And it's to serve, we noticed that on campus there were other affinity groups. There's LALSA, there's for Latinas and for Hispanic people, and then there's also BALSA, and there was nothing for Asians or Pacific American. There was nothing for us. So we decided to bring it back just so, you know, everyone can be represented here on campus in some way.
Yeah, it's funny because like since 1L, this was like a idea in our heads, and like we were like, should we do it? Should we do it? And then I guess this year we were just like, you know what, let's just do it. And so it's kind of how it all happened. It's like been in the works for in our heads for like a little bit.
How did you guys start it? Like, did you have to like talk to Dean Templates, or did you guys just like one day just we're
forming this group?
Yeah, like how did it come about? Like, what did you guys have to do?
So we came up with this idea on our own. Like she said, like 1L year, we would run through idea. At one point, we're like, do we do like a South Asian Law Student Association? That'd be, you know, be called SALSA. You know, we were like, throwing out ideas. But then we're like, if we just do just South Asian, there's about 4 of us here.
Yeah.
But if it's something broader, like Asian Pacific, Americans, that encompasses a bigger group of people. And if we just did South Asian, then what about the other people? They don't have an affinity group still. So then me and Sneha and our friend Nicole, we kind of thought of this together. And then because our school had a APALSA thing, so it was on our school website, but there was just nothing there for it. There was no Instagram, no nothing. And then so we reached out to Dean Templates, and then last year someone from SBA, Caitlin Smearcheck, we reached out to her too, and they kind of told us like, okay, like we wanted to start this last year, but they were like at the end of last year, and they told us you know, if we can start it up next year in time for next year, so like just for now, just like start a social media and get like a little presence, and then once we come back we can like full-fledged like start it. So we definitely needed like help in the beginning, and we still need help.
Yeah.
We're still a baby.
Did you guys find it like difficult recruiting members into the group? Because I know like coming here, my thing was I want some type of diversity.
Yeah.
Like I would like to be around people who know the struggles of being like a person of color or just being a first gen in law school. So did you guys find any difficulties like recruiting members?
I think at the beginning, like we were like over the summer, we were just kind of going ground like up. So like the people that we did know like wanted to be a part of it, like they like came on pretty easy. And then like a lot of our friends like that we knew and stuff, like since it had been in the works for so long, we were always like kind of talking about it and whatever. So it was really like just word of mouth, I guess. Whoever wanted to join would join. So yeah, that's basically how we was for that.
And we've kind of like stressed from the start that like if you look at any of our like social media posts or emails or twin or whatever, we constantly everywhere we put everyone's welcome here. So we want to emphasize that like even if you're not Asian or you're not like you know of a Pacific country nationality, like that's okay. So like for like members and stuff like that, like people on our mailing list, I would say like most of them aren't Asian Pacific like students, you know. And that has helped with our membership, because I feel like if we only cater to just us, there's so few of us, you know, and a community is based off people who identify with the community and people who support it, right? So like luckily like that has helped too, like just like, you know, from our board, like, you know, you said you're Mexican and Spaniard, and you're our events chair. And we also have a Colombian on our board. We also Panamanian. We also have different regions of India, different like Pakistan. We have China, like just like we had a Burmese secretary, like just different like parts. So I think that has helped with like membership. It has been hard because no one knows us. But it's nice that like you should join. I'll add you to the mailing.
Don't gotta tell me twice. We're recruiting people right now.
But yeah,
that's exciting. What kind of events do you guys have that you're looking forward to?
So actually in a couple weeks, our events chair asked me.
She might tell all about it.
But yeah, in a couple weeks, I think it's November 16th, we're gonna do like a get cozy with the APALSA. So there's gonna be like hot cocoa, there's gonna be like painting, pastries, and so that's going to be going on from like 10 to 4, I believe. So that'll just be going on the whole day, and like that'll be in the pit as well. So if you're passing by on a break or anything, you can come in, like paint something, like have some hot cocoa, you know, eat some pastries. So yeah, that's one of the things that we're doing this semester.
And it's a nice little, like, since it's in the pit, like if you're coming by, even if you don't have time to paint a little canvas, or we have a friendship bracelet making thing, you know, shout out Taylor Swift. Whole little like thing.
When I have to ask a question.
The APALSA love. You really but yeah, it's just like something nice, because like finals will be coming in like 2 weeks after that, and then like there's Thanksgiving break. There's a lot of things going on, so like just a nice little like it's a little pick me up, like either like grab a bagel or a friendship bracelet, you know, like or all of them.
Will there be whipped cream?
Yes, it's a hot chocolate bar.
It's a hot good time.
Got that chocolate sauce.
Whipped cream sprinkles.
Marshmallows. The big ones or the mini ones?
The mini.
Oh,
we need the marshmallows. That's really what makes them hot cocoa.
Yeah.
So a question I wanted to ask you guys. You guys are all first gen for law school and undergrad, or was it just law school?
Both.
Yeah, me too. So do you have any like adjusting to law school? Did you find any issues or any complications or any obstacles that you had to overcome being a first gen law school student?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we all know how first gen parents are. They're very strict on education. This has to be perfect. This has to be this. And so for me in undergrad, like it was like, just for me at least, I feel like it was a lot easier for me academically. So like I would get pretty good grades and like it would be fine. And like obviously my parents were really proud of me. And then when I got to law school, it was like a big change. And it honestly, I did struggle a little bit. And they were just like what's going on, like you're always good at school, like why all like what's going on all of a sudden, and like they'll be like just try harder. I'm like okay.
My mom
that
was
was
the same
like,
thing. She'll go like, I'm struggling, like it's hard, like, you know, she's like, you're good at school, you got this.
Yeah,
like, it's not about being good, it's about retaining the information, understanding it, being good at exams, just honestly just showing up too is hard.
It's like
waking up in the morning.
It's language. It is all together.
And it's like so different from undergrad, because like undergrad you would have all these assignments, you would have all these things. So like my dad called me and he was like, what are your grades, like how are you doing in law school? And I'm like, I don't know, like we don't do grades like that. And he's like, well, what do you mean? Like I expect to see like you have good grades right now. And I'm like, you won't see until the end.
Telling people that our finals are like 80% of our grade, so like nothing else matters really, and they're shocked. And it definitely adds to like a pressure. But you had asked for me too, the same thing, like undergrad, I went to UGA back in Athens, Georgia, and you know, it's a really big city, a really big college town, and it's like a good school and stuff too. So my parents, like, you know, everyone like has this expectation of you too. And then coming here, and so at UGA, I know many people that went there, and I know it's like a hard school academically. It can be, but like, you know, a bunch of people that went through that, did that, so you can, and you have like a lot of people who you like know or grew up with or like friends, and then coming here and it's like in my family, I have 2 lawyers, and they're all like 15 years older than me, 20. So like their version of the LSAT's different from mine. Their law school experience different from mine. So it felt like really alone and isolating for a while, because I'm like, I have no one to ask questions to. Like I'm figuring this out on my own, and like that and like especially with grades and stuff, you do really well on one midterm, the next one you fail the next one. So it was a lot in the beginning, but 3 years under our belt now, like I would hope that we have, some sense of like what's going on, and
How do you guys cope with stress? Like, so I know that like being a first gen, our parents probably don't even believe that we go through stress. Like, I know my mom's like, you don't know what stress is. You don't.
My mom says, don't. I'm like, I'm stressed. She's like, stop.
She's like,
I'm
you're
scared.
She's like, you're 23. What do you have to stress about? There's a lot.
Yeah.
So how do you guys cope with stress of law school, and then also just the stress of family? Because sometimes it's like, I can't tell my mom certain things because it's like she just can't relate to it or understand. She'll be like, you have nothing to stress about. So it's like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I cry every day. Yes, I do.
It's a lot.
I think in terms of like family and stuff, like I have like a good group of friends like that support me through everything. So that's really where like I'll talk about if I'm stressed about something like mental health problems or anything like that, because unfortunately, if I tell my parents, I'm just gonna get, no, like stop, just don't. I'm like, okay,
Don't feel that. That's not
sure.
real.
Like everything's done. I'm good. So I kind of like, don't really tell them as much. I think my first year is really when I was stressed the most, and like my parents were like low-key concerned. They were like, is everything okay? Like I'm like, yeah, everything's great. So that was like a little like shocking for them, and like it was hard to deal with because they never really have seen me in that position, because I never really showed that to them ever. So they were all like, all of a sudden, like, what's going on? Why are you like this? Like, are you okay? And like, so since then, like I've just gotten like, it's been 3 years, like I've kind of calmed down a little bit. I mean, still like I get stressed and everything like everyone does, but yeah, I think just finding a good group of people that you can talk to and that will relate to you like about the same thing, like you're going through the exact same thing, and like even like friends back home, like I'll still like make sure to keep in touch. So I think that was like something that really has helped me a lot.
I think that's like really important to like have like a good group of friends, because like law school is like very stressful, and a lot of people don't want to say that. Like everyone's like, I feel like it's kind of weird. Like what I've experienced so far is like people are like, oh no, it's fine, it's not stressful, and I'm like, well, you're not stressed. Like I'm like really stressed right now, but like no one's like really open about it. No one wants to really talk about it because it's so competitive.
Oh, I'm an open book.
I'll tell you.
I will tell you. I cried.
I'll tell you that like I'm dying internally. I'll tell you.
What my last meal was.
A lot of people I feel like try to act like nothing's wrong, or in class they'll be like reading like 300 pages ahead, and you're like, when did you do that? Like when did it happen? Like how did you do that? But like honestly, like I feel like in a lot of cases, like not that they're not reading through. God bless them. Good for them. Not me, but I feel like some people do play it down to just like to other people that like, yeah, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Yeah. It's all going great. But like, we all know
everything is not fine.
Is it really fine?
Yeah. Even if they don't tell you they're fine, I mean, even if they tell you they're fine, like you see other parts of their like you just see it crumble around them, and they're like, I'd rather be open, and with the same thing she was saying, like relying on friends. Like I've had the same friend since 1 year. I've had her, and I've had Nicole, and I've had, made some other friends along the way, and then having friends back home, and I'm really close with my mom. So like, just like talking about the problems is like
so much.
Even if like if I'm like going through something mentally, like not that I necessarily absolutely have to go to the therapist then or have to be on medication. Like that's not like, even just talking about it like solves, like it helps a lot. Just like you bring life to your words, like you're confronting yourself almost. So it's like a friend who like they know you, they know how you think, and they can like physically be there for you and like emotionally, mentally. So that's been like a great help.
And who knows what's going on better with you than people that are doing the exact same thing. Like we have the exact same schedule, the exact same thing. Like we know everything that's happening. So like there is like kind of a thing where like even with my friends back home, like I talk to them and they're great support, but there's like they're not doing the exact same thing that I'm doing, so it's hard to understand like exactly where like we're coming from and stuff like that. So that's definitely Yeah. big
Even
thing.
like masters in like law school is like
Yeah,
completely
you're
different.
so different.
Yeah, like a lot of my friends like went to get their masters and they're like, I'm so stressed. And I was
Mhm.
like, me too. And
Mhm.
but it's like completely
It's a
different.
different playing
It's way-
field.
Yeah.
It's so different.
It's not
It's so
even-
different.
But I think we have to understand, like, it's okay to be stressed.
Yeah,
Like,
it
I
is.
realize that now, like,
Yeah.
just being here 3 months in, and it's
Mhm.
okay to have stress. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't have stress, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
are you not stressed?
That's
Your life
true.
is stressful.
Definitely.
And, like, especially law school. I know coming into law school, no one sat here and told me, it's easy. You're going to breeze through
Yeah.
it. They said
Right.
it's hard. You're going
Yeah,
to
it's
have to
hard.
put the hard work in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we're doing it. And look,
Yeah.
you're 3L. Like, we're
Mhm.
here. We're
Yeah.
almost there. Well,
And
not
it's
us, but.
It's okay to feel things. Like it's
Yeah.
okay if like
Yeah.
you are stressed or anxious. Like being anxious means you like care about
Right.
what's going
Mhm.
on.
Yeah.
Like, you're,
Definitely.
like, you know, like
definitely.
you want to perform well. You want to do your best. You want to, you know, like, you know, be there for people. Like it just to me it shows that you care
Mhm.
and that, you know, you want to do your best. And yeah, like feel it. Like, you know, I can't say when
It's
people like don't want to feel like
okay.
it's okay, girlie. Like
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
stress and you can still be fully intact, you know.
It's
It doesn't
true.
mean
If you
that
want to
you-
cry, you can lean on my
Yeah.
shoulder.
Yeah, like, it's
Definitely.
okay.
That was definitely something that I had to learn too. Like before, I think like in a way, like law school has made me a lot more like emo than I ever was before. I was
Tell
like,
me about it.
dang, like, why am I crying every
I
single
know.
Like, I get into a bottle,
Yeah.
hold back. I'm like, calm down.
No.
Because honestly, before I was very like,
Yeah.
no feelings. I don't care about anything. Like I'm
Mhm.
strong, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wow, it's really. And I think it's something that I've learned is that it's okay to feel those things. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make you weak just because you're crying or like you're stressed out. Like I think that was honestly one of the biggest things that I had to learn because I was very much before I was like, I don't have feelings. I'm strong. I don't care about anything. I've never cried. But like, and like really that's doing yourself a disservice because
Yeah.
what's the point
Yeah.
in just
Yeah.
holding things in like that and then 1 minute you're just exploding. Then you're like, okay, fine. I'm strong again. I have no feelings. Like that's not doing yourself any favors. So I think that's definitely something I had to learn. That
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely something I had to learn because, like, growing up, my parents always instilled, like, again, first gen,
Yeah.
your parents are like, you know, you don't need to cry, you don't need to feel this way, you're fine, we're
Mhm.
giving you everything. Like, what do you have
Yeah.
to complain about? Like,
Yeah.
they worked hard, and I'm
Mhm.
thankful for what they've done for me. But you know,
Definitely.
there's still things that we go on
Mhm.
every day in our lives that are like, oh, I gotta cry about this, just
Yeah.
at least 5 minutes about it.
Mhm.
So, but I think growing up now, like, you know, as time goes on, I think my parents are starting to realize that, like, they
Yeah,
have being
yeah.
here all these years and
Mhm.
coming here and seeing like just how I've grown up and just
Mhm.
they've learned to
Mhm.
adapt to everything. And then coming to law school, they're like, okay, we get it. Like it is a lot of work.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I'll show them
Yeah.
my assignments. I went back
Yeah.
last weekend. I
Mhm.
showed my mom. I was like, read this, read
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
You think law school's hard? Read this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
She was
just-
like, yeah.
They're also they're
Yeah.
also like growing with us, like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
in the process. This too is their first time
Yeah.
living.
They have to understand
Yeah.
that like, this is their first
Yeah.
time living.
If their
Like,
culture,
said that.
you don't talk about it. If
Yeah.
you are
No,
sad,
you don't.
get over it. If
Yeah.
you're anxious, don't.
Yeah.
Like things
It's
like
true.
that. Yeah. And so like for I'm close with like my family and like, you know, I went through quite a few things and there's things that have been brought up that they don't even know existed. I tried to talk to my mom about PTSD one time and she was like PMS and I was like
That's not
different letters. But
way different.
yeah. But now she understands that I get stressed or I have anxiety about certain
Mhm.
things and like,
Yeah.
you know, like as a good little Christian Indian mom does, you know, she'll tell me a Bible verse.
I love that. That's
Go
not
pray.
my too.
She's like, I'll pray for you. And, you know, God doesn't give you anything that
Yeah.
you can't do. And you're so
Mhm.
strong. You've done, you know,
Yeah.
worse things before. You'll do
True.
this again,
Definitely.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think our parents definitely like my parents have also like started to learn. Like my mom, all of a sudden she like loves TED Talks. Like I remember randomly she would send me this motivational like TED Talk. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Like what's going on? And I was like, that's really like for her, that's like a lot. She's not like
Yeah.
we're not like oh, I love you. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I love you too. Like, oh, we like show
Yeah.
each other like verbal appreciation. Like for her, it's like things and like acts
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So like, I know when she sends me those things, like she's like, you know, she really is
Yeah.
caring. Even though she's not like, even when I'm like, dang, like I'm really stressed out, like she's like, no, stop, don't like,
Yeah.
but like I know she sends like those videos and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like that's really where she shows that she cares. Like
Yeah.
she might not be able to like put it into words, but like I
Mhm.
see like through her
The
eyes. Like I
actions,
can
yeah.
tell that
Yeah.
she's trying.
Yeah.
Like because
Just
it's
growing.
so foreign to her. Like
Mhm.
okay, like why are you stressed? Like move on. But
Yeah.
I think she's definitely like learned or like she's grown as well. And like you said, like this is their first time like going through all of this too,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like
It is.
Like
Yeah.
I would say like I want to say probably like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, if I had told if my parents had heard of someone who was like depressed or going through it, you automatically think like the worst thing, you know,
Yeah.
and you think they're almost like done for. And now it's like you see growth in them where they're doing it's like baby steps. And like this past summer, my dad helps run this like South Indian like Christian conference, and him and his friends brought a mental health seminar, like a panel.
Nice.
And so I'm over here like making the graphics and the Google Docs and things. And I'm like, I never thought all of these Indian uncles would be like, yeah, and let's talk about this with mental health and give us these questions.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a 2-hour panel here, and then for the youth like section, we're gonna do another. And I'm like,
Oh my
yeah,
God, that's
yeah,
so
no,
nice.
like,
I love that. I love
but
that.
it takes like it's I want to say in both of our communities, or like in ethnic communities, it's something it's foreign, but like I feel like the tide is turning. Like, finally, you know.
I definitely see growth in that area.
Yeah, like now I know, like 3 years ago, if I told my mom I was stressed or depressed or like just going through the motions, like I'm having a bad day today, or if I woke up and I'm just like mad at the world, you know, she would be like, what are you mad about? What are you mad about? What are you sad about? Like, she's like, I had to do this when I was in my 20s. I already had 3 kids at your age. It's like,
what do you have
like,
to
I'm
worry
like,
about?
she's like, I had to work and I came here and I didn't even know the language. And I'm like, I completely get that, but we can't compare your struggle with my struggle. Like, we have our days. And like now, if I call her and I'm like crying, she's like, it's okay, breathe with me, talk it through with me. Like, she's definitely adapted a lot more to mental health, and she understands it.
Yeah. I think like sometimes it's like a little bit more pressure. Like our parents are like, oh, well, like, why are you stressed? But like it's more pressure because like we have never been to law school. And so it's like I want to like prove to them that like, you know, I can like go through it. So it's like I put more pressure on myself. Just because like I want to prove my family that I can do it.
We also have to understand we're their babies. Kids. They don't want to see us sad. They don't want to see us stressed. They want the best for us. So like coming to law school, my mom asked me numerous times, she's like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? It was never something like, yes, we have to do well. She was like, you're going to college. Like there's no yes or no. There's yes. That's it. There's no. And I never not wanted to go to undergrad. Like I knew I wanted to go to college, and I always knew I wanted to come to law school. So when she asked me, she was like, it's a lot of work. You're going to be in debt. Are you okay with this? Like, I'm like, yeah, of course. And I think that was such a big growth on her because with my other siblings, she instilled like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. And when they ended up not doing what she wanted, she took a step back and was like, you know, I was forcing them so much and they didn't do what I wanted them to do. And she realized like, maybe I just need to like let my kids breathe a little bit. And look, and then she got me.
Perfect.
What like drew you guys to law school? Like why?
I mean, it's always been just something that's all like I've been in the back of my mind. Like it's always just something that I'm like, like maybe. And I also have 2 lawyers in my family as well. So like I saw how like they were living and like how interested they were in it. And also it's just like as like through undergrad and stuff as well. Like that's really like where I got interested in it like more, because before it was just, oh, you like to argue a lot. Like you would be a great lawyer. Like anytime I'm in an argument with my parents, wow, you need to be a lawyer. I'm like, okay, guys, like whatever. But then in undergrad, like I was a poli-sci major, and so like I was taking a lot of classes about that, and so it was super interesting. There were more like law like based classes, which I found those were more interesting to me. So it was really just something that like kind of grew like. So it was like a funny joke that like I was good at arguing, so why not go? To like actually being like, oh wow, like I'm here now.
Yeah, literally the same thing. Growing up, like I think the first time I said I want to be a lawyer, I was like in the 3rd grade. Just because all I knew was that they can like talk, and like I remember in 3rd grade we had like, or 4th grade we had like just learned about like persuasive writing. And so I really ate that up. I was so excited about that because I'm like, I'm gonna prove them wrong. And from there, like I was like, oh, I want to be a lawyer. And then there was some people, you know, within the family and their community who were like, girls shouldn't be lawyers. You shouldn't be. That's a hot topic in this community. In some in some like certain like Asian, like South Asian things, like there's this like running like line or like joke or whatever, like girls shouldn't be lawyers because that's not good for marriage. And you know, if you're from an ethnic family, your value is placed in if you get married or not. You could be the president, you could get a Nobel Peace Prize.
A strong working woman.
You could be a Nobel Peace Prize winner, but if you're not married, settling in this community, it doesn't
yeah.
mean anything.
No.
So I had some like people echo that where they were like, in the 3rd grade, an auntie told me, you shouldn't be a lawyer. You know, no boy is gonna marry you. And I was like,
Oh, I heard that one.
in the 3rd grade, I was like 8. I was like, oh my God, like a boy's not gonna marry me. I was like, I need to change. I was like, I'll be a doctor. Fine, I'll do it. And I was like, for a while, for a few years in high school, I was like, I'm gonna be a pathologist. Like I'm gonna be a doctor. And then I went through like high school and I was like, I really don't like science. And that's a really big part of this. And I was like, but I always still like law. I was like into politics and I still like this train of thought of like, you know, like being someone's defense or like, you know, there's like law is so big, you don't have to be in court. Like it was so vast. So then I still like I stuck to it in like high school and then through college. I was like, I still want to do this. And I still had people in my ear telling me, well, if she's going to go to law school, you should get her married right before she goes. Otherwise, she'll never get married. And I have people in my family, the 2 that are lawyers, like they're not married. So it's just like this constant like thing of like, you're not going to get married and no man wants an argumentative woman and it's not good for married life. And I'm like, I'm like 17, like, you know, like that's not my whole like worth or thing. And went through a whole thing. Like even my own grandma was like, she would call and ask like what am I going to school for, what I want to do, and I would say I want to be a lawyer. And then I love my grandma to pieces, but she was like, no, she's like, no, don't do it. Like, are you sure? She's like, you don't like nurses, you don't want to be a nurse. And then my whole family's into IT and tech and computer science, and they were like, you know, they could really get you a job, you know, what about that? So I just stopped calling her because I was like, I don't want to hear this time and time again. But like we were saying, like it's they're also growing. So now when I call, like I would like stop calling her for a while. I just didn't want to talk about it because I don't want to call and you discourage me every time. But it's just because they're in that antiquated like mindset. And now when I call or when I started calling again and stuff and talking to her, out of nowhere, she's like, when I watch TV and I see a lawyer, I think that's gonna be my Ashley girl one day. And it just took like some like time for them to change. But it's definitely like it is hard. It feels isolating because no one does it, you know, and like people be talking some real interesting nonsense. So there's like an awful discourse around this in our community.
I didn't either.
There's actually one time I went, that your story reminds me, there was one time I went to India, I think it was in undergrad. And I was telling this like random uncle, like he was like, oh, what do you want to do like when you grow up? And I was like, oh, like I want to go to law school. I want to be a lawyer. He was like, no. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, no, like girls can't be lawyers. And I was like, what? Like, why? And like, this is also someone that I don't really know. And there's also like the whole thing, your reputation. So my mom is like, don't say anything. And I'm like, okay. And he's just like, yeah, like girls just can't be lawyers. Like, it's like, and he was making this like, comparison of like, this is literally, I don't even know why he was talking about this. He was like, yeah, like, you know how men can climb trees and like women can't. So basically because of that, like, obviously, like women don't have the brains to, you know, be a lawyer. And I'm like, why are we talking about trees? Where is that coming from? And he was just like, yeah, like you can't do it. And then he starts like quizzing me on like all these random things, like laws up in India. Like I don't know that. And he's just like really trying to like put me down. And like it was like such a terrible way to feel, especially because like I'm going to like visit people there and like I don't even really know him like that. And like it just left such a bad taste in my mouth. And like I have just been so excited and ready for the day where I graduate and I become a lawyer and I go there and I tell him, I guess you were wrong. You know, guess you were wrong.
Yes, you should.
Yeah. I'll get back about the climbing the tree. I guess.
If you wanted to,
you know,
I
could do it.
You would. Probably would do it anyway.
I have to give everybody else a chance. You know, like that's why.
I think that resistance that there is in our community of like that discourse, it almost like it makes you like stubborn. I am gonna do this.
It drives you. I feel like it drives you
like,
too. Let me show you that.
Stick it to the man.
You know, there's one thing I am. You know, to prove a point.
Doubt is going to motivate me every step.
For sure.
It just puts me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys know what type of law you want to practice? Like,
I want to do corporate, so that's more like my sort of thing. Which is, it's also funny because like the whole, I feel like a lot of people get their start of like, maybe being a lawyer is what I need to do from the, oh, you argue a lot. Like maybe you should be, but now I'm like, no, like, you know, I'll just be a little corporate lawyer, like my little contracts and everything. I'm good. Like I don't need to fight with anyone. So yeah, that's really like more of the thing that I've been looking at.
I enjoy a bit of like I was on the mock trial team, so I do enjoy the arguing IRL type of thing, but I think for like a life-wise type of thing, I want to do corporate law as well, and like specifically intellectual property.
Okay.
And I've had a few internships in entertainment law, which is really interesting.
Cool.
Just like I feel for me, I think I'm a bit of a creative person, or like, you know, I'm really into the music and the film, the pop culture, you know, all those things, and like those fields, like they're still law, but it's also like fun. It seems fun, you know. So far, but if I ever want to like argue, I'll just be like I don't know, like a commercial like litigation or something, just so I can like yell.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Just yell.
What about you guys? What do you guys want to go into?
I'm like thinking more corporate as well. Like I know it's like I know.
Wait till you hear my answer.
My like so far, I know we're only like 3 months in, but so far like contracts is my favorite class. I love it. Like it just like makes sense to me. So
That's good. Yeah.
I used to work in a law office before this. It was estates and trusts.
Oh.
It was fun, but it's like
It's
not what I want to do.
fun.
But like contracts is I feel like is something I would want to do.
So I'm a mix of everything, and I feel like that's okay because I'm not gonna know 3 months in. Originally, when I came in, I'm like, I'm gonna be a prosecutor. This is what I want to do. I want to make a change in the world. Okay, yeah, okay. 3 months in, it's already changing. So I do want to go into business law. Like I was looking either white collars or I was doing thinking of real estate. So around there, I'm like, it's okay to change my mind.
So yeah.
I want to be a civil rights lawyer, then a human rights. And now here I am, entertainment.
It's like so
Quite a turn, yeah.
For entertainment law, you mentioned you had some externships and internships, right? So did you find any like complications or any obstacles you had to come being a person of color trying to get these internships?
I just feel like there weren't many opportunities, and I don't know if this makes sense, but like growing up, like my family, like we're all big like music fans, and like you know, we love a good movie or two, but the same music and movies and stuff that people here grow up on, that they're like privy to, you know, like they're raised in, sometimes I feel like I just don't have that basis. Like I don't know the films, and then they'll be like, we grew up with that. I'm like, oh, we're listening to some like Malayalam songs, and like
I was watching
like
telenovelas. I don't know anything that goes
so,
on.
like sometimes I feel like, oh, like I felt like I had it was entertainment law firm. We did music law, and I feel like I know a lot of music, but suddenly I don't know anything that they're talking about, and like those are things they were raised on, and so it felt like a disconnect, and I feel like in general entertainment law is like it's like a lucrative field, but it's like a small field in terms of opportunity. So in general it was hard. And once I got there, and like I'm in an entertainment law internship right now too, and that's more film and TV based. And even then, when my boss talks about like the movies and things that he's enjoyed and was raised on, and I'm like, I probably watched that like last year, you know, like I'm just like unlocking things that they were just like raised on, because you know they're from here and they're raised in that like culture. And like for us, like we're not watching Wizard of Oz at our house. We're not watching like things like that, like Sinatra. Like my parents don't know what that is, you know.
Classics are not our
Like,
I'm like, what are you even talking about?
And makes you feel like you just like don't know things. So I'm like, well, I gotta catch up on like 70 years worth of like
sometimes
stuff,
it makes you feel so disconnected with everyone else.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, like I have not, but then I appreciate my culture.
Yeah,
and that's beautiful. Every culture is beautiful. So it's like, but growing up, I'm like, I don't even know how to say sometimes a word in English. I'm like, I don't know. It took me so long to find out how to say cabinet because I only knew the Spanish word for it. And I'm like, oh, I don't know how to say it. I don't.
Yeah. There's still like, because like my parents, they'll say certain words for like certain like things. And I'm like, I only know that word. Like I know what it is, but I'm like, what is that in English? What I do that all the time. Even now, I'm just like, what is that in English? And like something like weird words, and I'm just like,
we speak the same language. We're from the same place in India, so like even like with our friends who we're Malayali, we're from like the southern tip of India. And so our other Indian friends are like South Asian friends, they're not the same Indian. But even to them, sometimes I'll say a word in our language because sometimes that word better encompasses what I'm trying to get at than, you know, like me and Sneha, we'll talk in English and they're like a Malayalam word, you like here and there.
And we all get it.
We
all get it.
Yeah.
I had to teach them some of the words. There's some words that like I'll use like
even even vice versa. Like my friends will be, or like one of our friends like speaks Hindi or in Punjabi. So like she'll say something, we're like, yeah, okay, we got it. And like we'll actually get it. It'll just be like, it just
okay.
We've asked enough or we've heard it enough.
Okay.
Or like context.
You're like, gotcha.
We're like, okay, got it. Yeah.
It's like the same with Hispanics. Everyone has different language.
Yeah, different slangs, different words that translate for every different country. And you're like, no, that means this. And they're like, no, that means this.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that means this. I'm like, who taught you that?
Yeah. Like, so you go.
No, go.
Even with my like grandparents, they're like one's Mexican, one's Spanish. Like they all would always argue, like, no, this is the word, and I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Even we've had like over like some definite like which word is like like remember what is it for? There was some word that we were talking about, and one of us was like, this feels like more intense than if this other word, and then I'm like, no, but this feels more intense than the other word, and then we're like, no, you're wrong. And then I'm calling I'm like, listen, like she said that this sounds like this, but that's not it, right? And they're like, no, that's not it. Like, see, Ashley, I told you it's not it.
We're from this India split up into states and stuff, right?
Okay.
So we're from the exact same state, but there's like different like regions.
Okay.
So there's certain words that she'll say, and I'm like, that's a real interesting tense to use, you know? Like I remember, like, it's not gonna make sense, but I remember she like called her dad, or her dad called her while we were all together, and she was telling her dad, like, I'm studying with my friend. So she was like, "Nyam padichon dirikiwa." And versus when I call my mom, I'm like, "Nyam padikiwa." Like, it's just like the way she says, I'm like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but I'm like, where are you from? And then there's like a little like, you know, like a dissonance there, but it's interesting. It's cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's cool that we speak the same language. So if you want me to like, what's the something or whatever.
That's another thing, coming here, you know, were you guys like nervous you wouldn't meet anyone of the same ethnicity or because I felt the same way coming here, and I was like, oh my god, I don't, who am I going to relate to? But then I came here and I found a couple people who are Hispanic or who are of the same where I'm from, and they're just like, it just clicks. So did you guys find any difficulties, or like when you came here and you found each other, you're like, oh my god, hi bestie?
We say our meet cute. So basically, we were all in this Facebook group chat, right? And, you know, I guess I don't really use Facebook like that. So I just joined it and I was like, okay, I'm never looking at this again other than once or twice. And so I like didn't look at it. And then like a couple weeks after.
Days! She always says weeks. Days.
Days later,
she left me on red.
Like weeks.
And she DM'd me and she's like, hey girl, like my name is Ashley, like blah, 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 all of this. And she's like, oh, do you want a room together? I was like, dang, like I already know like the place and everything. It was so like, and I felt so bad, and that's like kind of how we became friends like that.
And like from her name, I could tell that we're from like the same place.
Okay.
Like her first name is like a word in our language, so I'm like, this girl gotta be Malayali too. I'm like, Sneha Henry. I'm like, she gotta be Catholic too. Like, I know. So then, like, I reached out then, and then for orientation, it's like we already had like a friend, because I was like, because being in law school, I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna find any Indians, and then the same type of Indians. And I'm like,
that's crazy.
God really did something with that.
No, he did.
Because I did not think I would like meet someone who's like me. And then like we were like there for orientation, and like we've just been together.
And and then like I think even like you guys probably relate. I feel like when you're like a certain ethnicity, you like kind of naturally just kind of cling on to the people that are the same as you, because you know they'll get it. Like they'll get it the way that like maybe other people won't be able to get you. So I think we just like kind of like that, and like our other friend Nicole, she's also Indian as well. So like it was just like we like kind of latched onto each other because we're like we're the same. So like it's just like something that like initially you're just like you feel comfortable even though like you don't even know this person. Like it's just
now as we've like gone on, like there's other people in our grade who are like if they're not like Indian, like they're like Pakistani, they're Bengali, different parts of India. So now it's just like, okay, we have found like people, like there are people here who do get it, even though it's not as we're not like a majority. It's still like it's a good
Yeah,
like
there's
a
still
good
some
It's a
population.
good feeling to have, even though like obviously you'll make other friends and like that's obviously not like the forefront of like this person has to be Indian for them to be my friend. Like obviously nobody's thinking like that.
Yeah.
But it's just like initially when you come in and you see someone that's like similar, you're like, oh my God, like we're
Just
gonna,
feels
we're
like
gonna,
home.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
nice
home. It's like
commonality,
you
you know?
feel it, and then like from there, like you just like get closer and like it's just
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can totally relate because coming here, I had the same feeling, and I wanted to ask you guys: are there any upcoming events that you guys have coming up for your? I know you mentioned the hot cocoa. I
yeah.
was there with my. Do I have to bring a mug? I'll bring my hot cocoa mug.
We'll better see you there.
I will bring my mug.
We're open for like 6 hours, girl. We better see you there.
Clock in for one of those.
Yeah, so we do have the Get Cozy with the Pulsa. So that's November 16th from 10 a.m. to around 4 or 5 p.m. And we'll have a hot chocolate bar, friendship bracelet, making station. We'll have little mini canvases you can paint.
That's so cute.
We have like pastries and donuts and bagels and things, and just like a time to get to know us, you know, like just because no one knows, like APALSA's new, we're a baby, you know, so just people to get familiar with us, and like we want you guys to like feel good too. And then next year we have an like our big event, we're calling it the cultural cookout, and so we're partnering with LALSA, and we're also partnering with BALSA and any other student orgs. Doesn't have to be like an affinity group, any other student orgs who, you know, it's just like a day of appreciation for our diversity and different things we bring. So you'll have like Indian food, different Asian cuisines. I'm a henna artist, so like I'll be doing henna. There'll be like
I love that.
Girls, I got you, you know?
I love
I'll support her.
Give me water. You know? But it'll be like a fun time, and like the other orgs are also bringing like food from their regions, and it's just a time for, you know, like let's just make Widener a little like diverse and like just appreciative of all these different cultures, and we're all so different, so might as well like learn about it, experience it, and like, you know, we're only here for 3 years, might as well, you know, have a good time.
Do you think that the club is still going to be up and running when you guys leave? Like who?
Girl, I hope so. It's in my prayer every night. Okay.
It tends to happen sometimes with clubs.
Cat, you hear that?
I got you.
I will not like. I'll join, guys.
I said I would, so I have to.
There's evidence. You cannot deny this.
Like a cat.
Yeah, we hope so. We know in the 2L class there are like on our board we have a few 2Ls and we have quite a few 1Ls, and so we hope that like this club, like we do enough and it means enough to them that they want to bring it forward and keep it going, because I so desperately wish this was around when we were 1Ls, and you'd almost have like, you know, it'd be like a group where everyone is like a 2L, 3L, and like you're a 1L, so you just want to like, you know, you'll have someone like a mentor almost type, you know, like, you know, people, you're familiar with them. So we hope that this club will mean enough to people to like, you know, push this message forward of everyone is welcome here. We want to celebrate all of our cultures, and we want to give emphasis to the issues that we also face, especially with that uptick of like, you know, the like the Asian hate crimes things going on now more than ever. Like you have to band together and support each other. So we hope, I pray, please Jesus, like I just like for it to like, you know, go forward, and we're hoping
I'll keep
for
it
it.
posted. You gotta do your
We'll
thing.
be on that
Yeah,
Insta
don't
page
worry.
looking, seeing what's going on.
I know that Ashley will text me. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. It was a pleasure.
Happy.
Made my Friday morning.
Right?
Bye.
Widener University Commonwealth Law School is the Pennsylvania capital's only law school, with 3 specialized centers of legal scholarship through its Law and Government Institute, Environmental Law and Sustainability Center, and Business Advising Program. Widener Law Commonwealth offers an exceptional learning experience that is personal, practical, and professional. Visit commonwealthlaw.widener.edu for more information.